It's Why Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Many things going on. The last Wednesday in November, like that's fun. There's much going on and happening in the world of Unblinded. And hello, first off, thank you once again for being here for what I believe is close to our 400th something huddle. Amazing to think that this started out of a phone call, and now we're here. And this alone is just a beautiful data point of what innovation, constant, ridiculous, sometimes even painstaking innovation looks like. Fun fact, we've said this in passing, and sometimes we hear Adam's story like 3 to 750, and it's just like, oh yeah, boom, blurping the story. Just like here, like, yeah, this entire movement, at least this portion, started from a conversation where Sean said, I know what we need to do. Let's do a huddle at 8:30. And no one really understood why. And everyone said, great, yeah, let's like run with it. And then we all missed our first huddle, including Sean, myself, all of us. We missed our first one. There was like 4 people on. It was 8 minutes of silence. And now we're here. And now a lot of us, myself included, cannot fathom a world where we don't start our day with the huddle. And it's become an anchor into our world, a portal into conversation, a portal into ecosystem merging with each and every single one of you. It's been an access point and an entry point for so many to begin to see what they're not seeing about the fun and excitement of exponentially growing their sales. And here's the best part. Like, there could be people out there like, oh my God, incredible. The structure, the process. Listen, none of us here, myself especially, doubt Sean's process. And I'll also share that I also have no idea what we're going to talk about on the huddle every day, which is Adam's favorite part. And even though, like, in integrity, that's true, we always know, especially Sean, where the energy is, where we are, what to speak into, because that's Sean's commitment to constantly being on the pulse of everything that's happening. So speaking of that, Mr. Callaghy, what's up, man? What is cooking in the world of you? As I feel your gratitude right now. It's like emanating from you. I'm excited for you to spend some, time with family. So I will kick the microphone over to you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Fernando, Adam, everybody. Gratitude is present in this very odd time. We have the unique privilege of having an almost 100-year-old Thanksgiving tradition in my family. And that usually sounds like something that comes from a family of affluence. And we're definitely not. But my great-grandparents got married when they were 15 and 16 years old on my mom's side. Nani, some of you went to my grandparents' beach house on Long Beach Island. It was my grandmother's parents. And when they were 15 and 16, they had nothing and got married. And my great-grandmother's siblings and my great-grandmother my great-grandmother's siblings had been in orphanages. And so when they got married at 15 and 16, they started to go around and one by one over time, as they could afford it, to get her younger siblings out of orphanages and to live with them. And so they created a very close-knit family. They were Italian on my great-grandfather's side, Irish, Scotch-Irish, German. Scotch-Irish is actually a thing. I used to make fun of my family and say there's no such thing as Scotch-Irish. It's like made up. But it is actually some Irish people that lived in Scotland, and they would call it Scotch-Irish, which I found out later in life. And so it began this incredible tradition of keeping that Thanksgiving, having Thanksgiving together. And as my grandmother and her siblings, my grandmother's one of 5, got married, they all stayed together for Thanksgiving. And then when they had kids, the kids and their parents all stayed together. And that same tradition, I was blessed and privileged to inherit about 4 years ago to start being in my home. And so you would have my grandmother's siblings' grandchildren, like I'm one of those grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, assemble under the same roof. Not all of them every year, but it would be like 50 to 70 people each year. And my grandparents' generation, there were 10 of them, meaning 5 kids, and they each had a husband or wife. And so that grouping, you'd walk into my home and we'd have pictures of the 5 families that were up there, the couples from their wedding. So my grandmother and grandfather, and each of my grandmother's siblings in that wedding picture. And for some that saw the Real Raw yesterday, we had the Tommy the chocolate giant chocolate turkey. I will get Tommy in a moment, and that's also a lengthy tradition of like breaking open the chocolate turkey with wooden spoons and having chocolate go everywhere. And but what I want to lean into about that tradition first is it's not happening this year, um, and that's going to be the first time that it doesn't happen because of COVID. And in our family, Thanksgiving that's arguably the big holiday, along with Christmas, of course. And my son, I'm not going to see him tomorrow. He's in Maryland, and if he came home for Thanksgiving, he couldn't go back. And the way that they had their COVID policy set up, and these are crazy times. And so I'm present to that. I'm also present to the fact that in this Thanksgiving tradition, that there was a policy of like openness and love and inclusion. So people are always encouraged, if they were friends or in-laws that didn't have places they really wanted to go on Thanksgiving, to bring them. And so my family had set a standard, and it was incredible. And they didn't have a lot. In fact, my great grandparents, when they had Thanksgiving with 50 people, it was like in a 2-bedroom tiny apartment in Jersey City. And I remember going there as a kid, and like you'd sit on the floor and human beings are packed in, and people are just happy to be together. Like connection and love was present. Of course, the family was perfectly imperfect, and there was dramas and craziness and dysfunction, like as in any family. But there was connection and love for sure. And so one year, there was a woman that was there, and my mom talked to her, my grandmother talked to her, people talked to her, and she was a very nice woman. And she spent a couple hours, Thanksgiving there, because in that tradition, people sort of come and go at times. And after she left, they were all talking like, oh, about the day, and everybody's kind of gathered, and they went through everybody, and nobody had any idea who she was. And she was so kind and so wonderful. And so it developed into a tradition in my family that they created the story, and who knows if it's true or not, that she was an angel that had come that day. And so out of openness, inclusion, love, tradition comes beautiful stories, sometimes myths, sometimes maybe the realization of the impossible. And so as we drop in with our fine ecosystem family, our family of Unblinded Choice in a minute that are here today, I just want to share from my heart to yours that we are the creators of our own story, as we often talk about here. And Neverland isn't somewhere out there, it's wherever you are, and the story that you create, and how you live in love and possibility with people, and the energy you gravitate towards being positive and accelerating and loving and growing or not. And it's all of our choice. And I am also present to the fact that family brings a lot of complexity. My family has had, epic divisions and pain, and siblings, my aunts, uncles not communicating with each other for a decade, and all the stress and pressure. So as I paint this image of this beautiful tradition, it was rich also with pain and drama and strife and division over nothing, over like, a job, and who hired who, and who didn't bring the right toy or gift for somebody else's child. And things that seem like they mattered a lot, and they cost a decade of time of people. So my hope and prayer as we hit this day before Thanksgiving is that for all of us, that we could retain empathy and perspective for everyone, and realize that some cries for help that might be coming our way or surrounding us, there's people that can't get out of that way, but it doesn't mean that it has to dictate your story, that has to control your emotions. And so I, especially in this complicated time where people may feel a lot of isolation and loneliness, we will do a huddle tomorrow as well. And knowing that even if you're with nobody physically tomorrow, you are loved, you belong, and you are connected. And holidays bring up a lot for people. And may this holiday bring up massive gratitude and your feeling of how loved you are and how much you have the ability to create your own reality and world and meaning to everything. So with love. Now, today, I think we have some awesome, fine folks. Fernando, Tink, who we got here? I think we got Patricia, we have Andres, Diana, Frank. You guys out there?
Here, Andres
Yep.
here.
Yeah. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Happy
Good morning.
pre-Thanksgiving. How are you?
Doing wonderful. How are you, Sean?
Doing wonderful, wonderful. Just so Andres, I hear you first. As we get ready for Thanksgiving, if you wouldn't mind sharing, first of all, how are you, and what are you thankful for?
Thank you. No, I'm doing great. I'm feeling complete. I'm feeling that there's a lot of beautiful things happening in my life, and it's the first time in, I'd say, 5 years that I'm spending Thanksgiving at home. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to be close to my family and have that opportunity. So that is very present for me.
Yeah, awesome, brother. I'm thankful for you, your integrity, professionalism, commitment to growth, and everything that you bring to this incredible movement and ecosystem.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Yes, I mean, yeah, on top of my family, I'm grateful for all this movement, and what this is doing for me and how it's pushing me to contribute and how it's pushing me to step up and add value to others. So it's all a reflection of what I've received from Unblinded, and I'm like, it's words fall short to explain what I feel in my heart when it comes to my involvement with Unblinded and you and the entire team. So thank you.
No, well, thank you, brother. Anything fun, like unique, that is in your Thanksgiving tradition, food wise, otherwise?
Well, I mean, there's it's pretty traditional but we have obviously we add the Puerto Rican dishes. We have pasteles,
Yes,
which they're just a part of Thanksgiving and Christmas all baked in together. So a lot of good stuff happening. But something that's not eaten in my family, and it's wild for some people in the U.S., it's stuffing. Like, we do not put stuffing on the turkey.
Tell them.
yeah. So Andres, pasteles bring up a little bit of a chill up my spine. There is a woman named Titi Dahlia, who was the aunt of my ex-wife, and she's a wonderful soul. And Titi Dahlia created a business of selling pasteles. So in my refrigerator, in my extra freezer at times would be like 150 pasteles. And I'd be like, I will buy all the pasteles. Like, I will give her $1,000 not to make pasteles and fill up the refrigerators. I'll give her $5,000 not to fill up the refrigerator. She's an amazing, incredible person. But why am I opening the refrigerator and freezer and pasteles are pouring out all over my floor? And that is a true story, Andres.
Oh my God. Yeah. You open my fridge right now and it's full of pasteles. It's just full.
And and I would go like, well, we have to bring them to the entire family. I'm like, I will buy a warehouse for pasteles. And how could it be a good use of your time and her time to be driving to Newark with boatloads of pasteles? Like, this is the craziest thing. So yes, that is my relationship with pasteles.
Amazing. And hallucinating that you love the taste, right?
Yes, of course. Frank Clark, I hear you feeling me. Can you feel me?
Yeah, I'm feeling great, Sean. Happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody that's on this call. And I can say for the record, I've never had pasteles, so bring some to my house. I don't even know what they are.
Yes, well, I will put you in touch with Titi Dahlia, because I'm sure Titi Dahlia is still making pasteles.
Amazing.
Well, thanks for having me on the call today. And yeah, what I'm thankful for, what's present for me is just an amazing year, and reflect back on what could look problematic, basically spurred on a lot of creativity for me and a lot of other people, right? And on having to adjust and shift and pivot and just, keep looking for the positive and keep looking for the next way to make magic and fun happen in our lives. And so I'm thankful for all of that, and I guess at this time of Thanksgiving, I'm very thankful for my kids. I'm incredibly thankful for my grandson. My parents are still married and together after 60 something plus years. They're in their 80s and healthy. And, so yeah, I mean, Thanksgiving looks different, right? We're not traveling. I can't go to Boston and be with my family. I can't go to South Carolina to be with my son. So, it's going to look very different this year. But I am thankful for, being introduced to you, Sean, and the vision that you have and being part of it. And all the people here in this Unblinded community, I've made incredible new friends, really lifelong friends. And I feel blessed for that. And I feel very thankful for being part of the future of where you're going with this thing. So very, very honored, very blessed, and very humbled also at the same time to be part of such amazing stuff going on. And a fun Thanksgiving story for me is when we were growing up, obviously there's the kid table that we'd all have to sit at. Yeah. And then the kid table then turned into the poker table because my grandmother, my mother, and my aunts loved to play poker. And, I'm the oldest in the family, the oldest grandchild. And so, they would take like a bed sheet that I have or something, and they'd put that over the kitchen table to make the poker table. And in the middle of the poker table, there would be this big circle drawn and the word pot on, for put the money in, right?
Yeah.
So when I was in my teens, like my mother would be like, you kids aren't touching that marijuana. You're not experimenting with any of that stuff, are you? And I'm like, Ma, you wrote pot all over my bed sheets. What, I'm doing stuff all
that is
day in and day out.
And
so yeah,
Frank,
so
I'm sorry,
go ahead, Sean.
No, I was going to say,
so go ahead. You're up.
We have a delay. So you go ahead, Frank.
No, I was just going to say that, growing up, it was a big deal to sit at the kid table and to be accelerated out of that to sit at the adult table. When I remember that, like changing or that turning of the guard, if you will, or coming of age moment, and then also being invited to play in the poker game, for 5 cents or 20 cents, right? And just being able to be part of that. That was a tradition that was pretty cool. I miss all that. So when we get our family together, it's cribbage now. That's my mother's thing now. We all have to sit around and play cribbage with her. And so she can beat us every single year.
That's amazing. So quick footnote, Frank, first of all, thank you. I'm so thankful for everything that you bring here and your amazingness. And from one oldest grandchild and great-grandchild to another, I am present to the reality of that. I'm also present to this, that I was 8.5 years older than my next cousin. So like I was 8.5 years the oldest grandchild and great-grandchild. And so there was no kid table when I was a kid. I was the only kid. So we had like 50 people Thanksgiving. And then I was, 7. And the next youngest person was like 21. So there's no kid table. So when I was 30 though, there was a kid table. So I had a child, like my son, Tyler, and I was at a kid table at 30. And I was not at a kid table when I was 7, 10, 15, and 20. So that was my Thanksgiving kid table, non-kid table. Interesting.
And dude, you're still a kid, so stay young, okay?
Yeah.
I appreciate that enormously. So Diana, how are you?
Morning. I'm doing amazing, Sean. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yes, happy pre-Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy pre-Thanksgiving to you as well. Thanksgiving is one of those holidays that I didn't have growing up because I am South American and we don't really celebrate it.
Wait, there weren't pilgrims in like Peru?
No pilgrims, no pasteles, no turkeys. None of that.
I thought pilgrims were all over the world everywhere. No?
Nope. Nope. So it's funny, when you adopt a holiday, you get to do whatever you want with it. So my kids and I, they're right here next to me, and my children and I, we love cranberry sauce. So we make our cranberry sauce and we begin having it like 7 days before Thanksgiving because why not? right?
Love it.
We take whatever we like out of that holiday and we stretch it as much as we can. And then we get together. This year is not happening, but we get together with my parents and my siblings, and it's really a sweet. It's one of my favorite holidays, though I didn't grow up with it, because we all go around the table at some point and we get to say, what are we grateful for? And cultivating that, I feel that brings awareness to each other, that we're so grateful for one another around that table. And we look back at the year, and there's so much to be grateful for. So it's a beautiful, beautiful tradition.
That is beautiful. And what's something that you're grateful for, Diana?
Well, right now it's a couple of things, Sean. One is I'm really present to the gratitude for the awareness of the formula, to know that the formula is just like gravity, and we're either in it, flowing in it, knowing where we are in it, and using it to fly, or we're not. And knowing that is something that has changed the way I live my life, my lifestyle, the way I communicate, the way I make my business grow, and everything. So first of all, I'm grateful for that, which means also I'm grateful to you for bringing that to our awareness. I went from realizing, I'm joining an amazing group of people. I see truth, I'm a beacon for truth. So I was so excited about that, to suddenly, slowly realizing that suddenly and slowly, right? It's paradoxical. Sometimes it comes like a wave and hits you on the face. And sometimes it's that flat ocean and you don't know what's happening, but then the wave comes back, boom. And it's hitting me that we are recreating how to live, how to communicate, how to seek truth and open up listening, and the power of what this can do in the world is just incredible. But it begins in small, insignificant little steps that we take all day long, from morning to night, relentlessly. So I'm grateful to that, that awareness and the family that has gathered around you and around it. Just like astronauts going to the moon, we discovered formula exists. Oh my God, let's go, guys. So that I'm so grateful for. And one more thing, I'm grateful for our mind as medicine. And I came up with this yesterday as I listened to one of my teachers, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He was talking about how people in his retreats are getting blood, that regular blood, put in with viruses. And before they work, this type of breath work and meditation that he does, which is really powerful, people get sick, infected with the virus. And after the retreat, 7 days, breathing, meditating, connecting to your mind as what the mind really is, creator of your reality, right? The mind, what you think, what you believe, where you put your attention on, creates, really literally shapes what you can see, what you perceive, your story, the meaning you give to things, the stress or the love hormones that cycle all through your body just by thought alone. Yeah. The differences between different kinds of love, conditional love, unconditional love unconditional with boundaries. It's a thought process. It's a belief system. It's an understanding. So when you work with your mind in that way, with the awareness of the power of your mind, what happens in the reality is that they put the same blood from the same person in connection to the COVID-19, and the person didn't react to the virus. The person didn't get sick. Only 7 days working intentionally with your mind and heart. And so, wow, mind is medicine.
Yeah, I agree, Diana. Amazing. And I think one of the things that comes up for people a lot of times is that may be too scary to accept, because then we feel like some level of guilt or self-blame that, wait, I'm creating all of my own realities. It can't be, because sometimes it's too much to process that we've created the pain that we have, as well as the pleasure that we have. And so that's a beautiful topic and access point, and I couldn't agree more. And so when we can accept that egolessly, is when we could begin to create the acceleration and the realities that we truly desire. So thank you, Diana, for that.
Yes, you're welcome. I think it ties beautifully with the formula, because we intentionally make every single move in one direction or not. We intentionally choose how to assign meaning to everything. And right now we're asking ourselves, why are we doing this? And it's because we have the power to create anything we want with it. So we want to create more money. We want to free up more time. We want to have all the fun and magic together that we can. So then we can transform or improve or change or optimize the way people go about their lives, their truth, their communication, and have a better world together.
Absolutely. So great job. So thankful for you, Diana.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much, Sean.
Patricia, the princess of leadership and future of leadership in the world. How are you?
I am outstanding this morning. I mean, this talk about infused with power, magic, clarity, consciousness, and meaning all in the first hour of this morning. Like from 8 to 9, every single person who has been a part of either the mastery call or this morning's huddle, I should say, and this morning's huddle has been infused with every single one of those words. It's beautiful.
I am thankful for your leadership, for things you've been doing on the 8 a.m. call, in this movement, for your brilliance, your wisdom, your heart, your consciousness. All of that is present. So I'm very thankful for that.
Thank you. I'm extremely thankful for you and for this community and the birthing of such a beautiful new society. Like, I will always claim that when it comes to what Unblinded means to me, because it is such a beautiful ecosystem of just, number one, there is no peer group like this that I have ever seen or experienced on Earth. So huge, huge congrats to everyone for really stepping up and playing in this space with the fullness of who they are and what they bring to the table. Because honestly, the diversity is where the power lies in who we are as a community. The real joy of everyone stepping into the space with their hearts and really just truly using the word play. Like Jay speaking this morning of where he saw his fault in practice yesterday, right? In him really speaking in a real raw open, but being able to playfully speak about it this morning. And you can hear the play in his voice. That in and of itself, and the charge that you gave him, which caused him to even change that perspective. Like, that's beautiful. It's such a beautiful becoming. And just him being able to share that reverberates within the entire peer group for everyone to take that learning, for everyone to step up in their play and in their fun of all of it, to be conscious in our connections and conscious in our communications. It's just, I don't know, it's just totally beautiful. But I do want to make a funny in regards to the pasteles. In regards to the pasteles, because every holiday it is the thing. Pasteles and coquito is like the biggest thing, right?
Yes, I'm familiar.
Yes,
So I love it. I love the fact that your fridge was like full of it, because I totally can relate, because although I am of Haitian background, Haitians, like islanders, tend to stick together, right? We're always like all about the Caribbean and everybody getting together. So it's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, pasteles? Okay, fine, we'll purchase pasteles. Oh, you're doing coquito? Okay, we'll purchase coquito. Like, it was just kind of like everyone sharing their tradition. And I remember on my like Thanksgiving of all of us getting together, going into my aunt's refrigerator and like, what in the world? It was like tons of all these different types of food, all packaged up. And she was like, yeah, we're going to just have a Caribbean Thanksgiving. I was just like, as long as somebody can tell me what all this stuff is, we're good. So I can relate.
Yes. So just for like optics, right? So after I got divorced, and I would have friends come over and like my kids, like we just eat out. Like, right. Like, so I just like order in and eat out. That's it. So after this dynamic, my refrigerator looked like literally nothing in it except like iced tea and maybe like a thing of pineapple. That was the entire refrigerator. And the freezer had like 2 pints of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Like that was everything in there. So that would be like my default refrigerator. And back then, default was opening it and frozen stuff, pasteles hitting the floor, dropping out. Like, and I can't see, I'm blind. I reach into the refrigerator, pull something out, spill things all over the place. So it was the differential dynamics were unreal. So it's not like a refrigerator for me was normally packed anyway. It was like completely empty. And this was like hyper packed. So it was absolutely mind-bogglingly unbelievable. It was like the odd couple from like back in the day with like Felix and Oscar. It's just like the most amazing base differences, not cultural differences, just like differences in like what a refrigerator looked like differences in the approach, right? So it was completely like, because my mom's family, by the way, would have pack refrigerator. Like, so my grandmother would be like pack refrigerator. My mom would be like pack refrigerator. I was like nothing in the refrigerator. So now in my refrigerator is like every single frozen item that was cooked like 3 months before. I'm like, why are you making more things? Like the refrigerator freezer is packed. Like, so yes. So
just so we can give the listeners a visual. If you guys are familiar with tamales, pasteles look like tamales, but they are made with crushed plantains, and inside of it is stuffed with spicy meat. And when it's created, it's usually wrapped inside of a banana leaf that's then wrapped inside a piece of foil paper. So when it's frozen and it is dropping out of the freezer, I want you guys to get a visual of what Sean's dealing with. When it's dropping out of the freezer, it's like little rocks. Actually, not little. It's like big rocks that are dropping out of the freezer. Hard, cold, sharp. Yeah, everywhere.
Amazing.
So I get it.
And so Patricia and everybody, I just want to introduce you to Tommy. This is Tommy the chocolate turkey.
Oh
my gosh.
I want some of that.
Yes.
Wow.
So here's my challenge of going from hello to yes. So what happens with Tommy is that the chocolate turkey, it's actually better known as the chocolate turkey, all right, is that it goes on the floor in a circle and all the kids get like wooden spoons, like the 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds, and this like violent session of like hitting the chocolate turkey with like objects, metal spoons, like wooden spoons, mallets, like, so all that's going on, invariably a child gets hit in the head with a spoon, there's crying going on, parents are like pushing their kids back into the circle to take videos and pictures and post them online. There's happiness, there's sadness, there's crying, chaos, right? That's what goes on. Now, there's not gonna be any kids besides my 2 daughters here, because we're gonna have like a very tiny Thanksgiving, most likely, because it's even questionable if my sister is gonna be here with my niece Madison and nephew Finn with COVID, and she works, you know, in the city and all kinds of stuff. Like we're not even sure what's gonna happen yet, right? So if they're not here, then I have a hello to yes problem, Patricia. It's that my daughter Courtney is 18, about to be 19, Emma's 17. And I'm gonna have to convince them that they should sit on the ground and break this open with wooden spoons and metal spoons to continue the tradition. That is not gonna go well. So I have a huge hello to yes challenge that is faced in me tomorrow. If Finn and Madison are here, my niece and nephew, they're, you know, like 7 and 4, like we're all good, right? But if Courtney and Emma are only here, then I have that challenge. So Patricia, if I need to call upon you and your Disney magic leadership, because my daughters do love Disney and leadership and love and like women leadership. So I may call upon you to help me go from hello to yes, to perhaps support Mona in that dynamic and conversation and my mom and like making that a reality. So could I possibly lean on you for that help tomorrow if need be?
Absolutely. Although you could just probably play Let It Go in the background and tell them to take it out on the turkey.
Yes, that would be much better. That would be much better. And anything they're mad at me about, they could think that I'm the turkey or anybody else. It would be perfect. Patricia, thank you for that huge micro distinction influence. I think we have it now. So thank you.
You're very welcome. That's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, and for everyone, this is how Sean and his family teach children Zeus energy at the age of 2. It's with Tommy the Chocolate Turkey.
Yes, that is true. So Patricia, thank you very much for being here today.
My pleasure. You guys rock. This family rocks. I thank you again for creating this community and birthing a new society. Thanksgiving this year is very different in all the right ways. So thank you for being a part of making my 2020 the year that was worth it all.
And thank you for all of it and everything that you do here. And so Patricia, Diana, Frank, Andres, everyone, thank you so much. And we'll be back tomorrow. Fernando, any final, my friend, as we get ready for Thanksgiving.
May you create an experience that will either A, create your new traditions, B, innovate on the ones you've had, and all of them be based on the foundation of love, family, memories, and all that we're creating here together. So thank you, Sean. Thank you, leaders on this call. And thank you for everyone listening for making 2020 the year has been for me and for us here at Unblinded. We would not be where we are without you.
Yeah. So thankful to all of you. And day-to-day working, Nicole, for the job that you do. It is absolutely mind-boggling. Adam and Fernando brothers. This does not, to say this doesn't exist is the understatement of the century. It was a dream to find human beings like yourselves who are perfectly imperfect, but committed to impact and mastery at levels that are beyond anybody's comprehension on this phone line. So love you guys. Thank you. And the entire Unblinded team, ecosystem, all your families, loved ones. Don't talk tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving. Love you guys.